Well, that makes it cool and cozy. Hey, welcome. I'm Cindy Johnson, and I'm a publisher at Cool Titles. We're located in Beverly Hills, and this is one of our episodes of Cool Conversations. And this is a freshman author. She's not new to writing, and you'll find out about more of that later. But this is her first book, and first book with us. I want to introduce Sophia Marie, probably our youngest author, and she is unbelievably talented, which you're going to find out here shortly. So let's jump in. Tell our viewers a little bit about your book, because they don't know anything, the title of it and where we're going.
Yeah. So the title of the book is called The Archives of the Hopeless Romantic.
Love.
And it's a book that's published in 3 stages. So it's a book of mostly nonfiction memoirs about my travels and studies abroad and falling in love in different places with different people. So it takes place from like Los Angeles to Dublin to London to Oxford to Paris, to Venice, Italy. So I wrote it in 3 stages, the first one being naivete. So it's when you're in this youthful state of mind, kind of having really unrealistic expectations of love, starting off, getting your romantic satisfaction from books and movies and TV shows and things that you're reading and stories that you're hearing, but you have these unrealistic expectations. And that presents you with the next stage, I think. That's when you're finally engaging with real love and you're kind of being disillusioned by it. You're realizing that the world isn't the way that you expected. Your romanticism isn't always matched by the men that you hope, would have that same kind of romanticism. And so that's the stage of disillusionment. And then the last stage, the third and final stage, I call it in this book, is enlightenment. Enlightenment. Okay. So it's when you're having these real experiences, you face the cynicism, you face the disillusionment, and then you realize that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, that there is someone that you can see yourself with and someone that matches that. It's a whole process to journey. Obviously, these stages come at different times in your life. Naivete can be encountered when you're 21, not just when you're 17 or 18. And
it can happen when you're 30.
No,
40,
exactly. Yeah, it can happen whenever.
I mean, if somebody is a widow or a widower, they may go through exactly the same process. So that's awesome that you just gelled the whole sort of cycle in 3 stages. So then why is the book important for you?
Yeah. For me, it's important just for the fact that I can't write about anything that doesn't have to do with love. It's impossible. I think love is the most important thing in the world. It makes you feel so alive. It makes me feel most like with the world, It's like when you're listening to a really great song or you're watching a movie that really makes you emote. It's the reason why you exist, and it's the reason why I see other people existing, and those that come before me that write beautiful songs or that write beautiful screenplays or that act in films, and you see it. It's just...
So are these based on your own experiences?
Yeah.
So just to let you know, we will probably be vetting the book, but just to make sure that there's nobody. But so based on personal experience, based on observations, based on imagination, all of those.
Yeah. So the majority of the book is definitely based on like total reality. There are 2 stories that engage kind of into the exaggeration. That's more when I was young and I was like, here's what I hope would happen, or here's what could have happened.
So who would you say your target audience is? I mean, we kind of talked about it applies to everybody, but when you were writing it, who were you writing it for?
I think I always write I love writing for young women. When I was in high school, when I was in college, I treasured any kind of romantic media, be that like Pride and Prejudice or Captain Von Trapp from Sound of Music, or listening to Lana Del Rey or Taylor Swift, like women going from high school to college to maybe like master's degree. So someone, I guess, on the same line that I am.
Right.
But I hope it appeals to more people than that. But I think I want to assure young women, don't worry, I understand where you're coming from. I know your romanticism, and I don't want you to lose that.
Without getting emotional, I have known Sophia since she's about, 4 or 5, I think. Yeah. And so it's really exciting to see how much she has accomplished and how she's grown not only as an artist, but intellectually in her degree. Will you tell us about, you just mentioned the city of Oxford, but what she didn't mention in a very humble way was where you're going to school and what your advanced degree is.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
So I just graduated from Georgetown University in the School of Foreign Service. I did international politics with a concentration in security studies. And now I'm doing Russian East European studies at the University of Oxford in England. And it's my second year now, so I'm going to be graduating in June with my Master of Philosophy. So I'm very excited for that, learning Russian right now. And you speak French.
Oui.
So we have un peu
Un
de
petit peu,
français. Ah
oui.
oui, un peu de français. Yeah, so my grandmother is French, so I was always drawn to like European politics, and then got much more into like security policy as an undergrad. And so my master's degree is focused on like diplomacy, national security, foreign policy.
So I think everybody would kind of want to know, do you consider being a hopeless romantic a strength, a weakness, a challenge, a fun challenge?
Yeah, I think it's all of the above. I think it's definitely, I think it's a strength to be so vulnerable. I think it's a strength to be such
agree.
a lover.
Yeah.
It takes so much strength to open yourself up to someone. And I think if you're engaging with the right people, it's never a challenge. If you're engaging with someone that has the same like propensity for vulnerability and the same romanticism as you, then vulnerability is never an issue. Knowing that you can be fragile, you have to know other people are fragile. And so if you have to turn someone down, or you have to say like, I'm really sorry, but I think we're heading in different directions, you do it in a very respectful way that you understand how human they are and how similar you are to that.
How did you navigate the shattered heart?
Yeah, a lot of calls with my sisters. Went to, I think you go to family, you go to music. I go to music always, always. Go to poetry. You need to find someone that you think like is very similar to you and has been successful. And like, okay, for instance, Lana Del Rey has gone through a lot in her life, and now she just got married and she seems really happy. I think you want to look for some kind of mentor. So like Caroline Polachek, Ethel Cain are like the songwriters that I turn to.
So you've dated people from different countries.
Yes.
Is there a difference between dating an American and someone from Europe, maybe another part of the world?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I mean,
in what way? This is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
this
so
is good.
since
intel.
since I studied international politics, I've always been drawn to people from different countries. On my first dates are not like, what do you like to do? It's like, tell me about the politics of your region. You know, like kind of. I like that. I love learning about new places. I have a fascination obviously for Russia and Eastern Europe, and so I've traveled there quite extensively. Yeah, everyone comes with their own background, wherever they're from formulates them.
So let's talk about modern dating.
Yes.
What do you think are the biggest challenges that people face in modern dating, or whatever that is? I mean, do you even see a difference in the time when you were small and now in terms of your view of dating?
There's just an abundance of choice. So you meet so many different types of people. And I think sometimes an abundance of choice can be hard because there's just so many to choose from that you don't really hone in on specific people. You don't give the time and energy needed. I don't think you always allow people to grow as much.
So to me, a hopeless romantic would want the meet cute or the chance encounter.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, and I'm
know.
not discounting a social app, because sometimes that can be the same.
Yeah, it can be.
You know?
I think honestly, this day and age, I think dating apps are important. I mean, I've met really great people off dating apps. I think you have to come with your intentions very strong. Like I only say, only interested in something serious. Yeah, you don't allow yourself to like have the cute meeting in the coffee shop or like the theater, which I would love.
Okay, so I think readers need to know, are you dating anybody?
Yes. I think that my music and my writing will speak.
Oh,
yeah.
Hello, Taylor Swift. Okay, yeah. Okay.
We'll keep it in writing.
That's fair. Ooh, that's fair. What is the most difficult part of writing about something that's so personal and emotional?
Like, because you document it so clearly, there's no escaping from it. If I was someone that, if I was someone that didn't write, I would just, maybe my camera roll would show me memories and I would dislike them. But as someone that wants to revisit my music or revisit my writings in my book, I'm always drawn back to it. I will say that when you're over that period of life, there is a dissociation where you can appreciate the art for the art itself. You know, like the way that I formulate sentences, I'm more attached to now than the way that I felt about a certain person. It's also a way to get over someone, like to know that you've created something really beautiful, and so even if that moment is no longer with you, it's like you've created something really nice out of it, and it's a good kind of archive of your life.
Tell us just one excerpt from your book that you
I really liked this one called The Performer, and I wrote it when I was studying abroad in
The Performers.
Ireland. Yeah, The Performer. And I was studying abroad in Ireland at Trinity College Dublin, and I went out with this like ex-boy band singer, and it was the first time I'd ever gone out with like a fellow performer, and so much of his personality was performative, and I recognized...
You mean on an interpersonal level?
Yeah, like it was like he was performing a show kind of constantly, and I could recognize a lot of myself in that. So not to like hate on that, but it was an
observation.
It was an observation of looking at a man that's just so
Constantly
hard. Constantly on, exactly. And I have this line where I'm like, he was performing to an audience that wasn't there, like on the guitar on his bed.
Or an audience of one.
An audience of one, yeah.
With this book, part of even your thoughts in marketing it, you turned it into a play in Edinburgh.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I...
At the Fringe Festival.
At the Fringe Festival in Edinburgh, which is the largest performing arts festival in the world, I decided that it would be a great idea to put this book into a play format. So I selected some of my favorite stories from my book, and I decided to put it, into a stage adaptation. It was a totally one-woman show, so it was like 60 minutes. I directed, wrote, produced the entire thing. It was an amazing experience. It was 2.5 weeks, so from August 2nd to the 14th, every night for 60 minutes.
Oh my.
Yeah.
What kind of feedback did you get?
Yeah, I got people that really felt the romanticism. People that were like me that came to the show, obviously, because they saw the title, The Archives of the Hopeless Romantic, and they were romantics themselves.
Right. So if you were to sum up your philosophy of love, if you can, in one sentence, what would that be?
Okay. An openness to try all that life has to offer while being respectful of the humanity in everyone.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So now you recently starred in a trailer of a book of love poems with one of our other authors, Neville Johnson. So how did that experience reflect what was going on, or what is going on in your life?
Acting is something that I've always wanted to do. Whenever I'm in school at college and master's degree, I'm like always acting in things. Like I just did 2 shows, and then obviously did the Fringe show, and then I'm always like trying to be in short films wherever I can. Yeah. I've never fallen for a director, so that was different. But okay. I have fallen for...
That's giving away a little bit of the plot. But
yeah. An aspiring actress, I mean, that's like, I think that's something that's kind of a lifelong, I learn more things, I hopefully grow in my talent, and then we'll see what happens.
I want to talk about your music, and I was just listening right before we started this to one of your songs, Decency. So
I think it can be sometimes seen as maybe a weakness that I don't like study music as my thing, that I study Russian politics or international politics, but I think just the human experience is very important. Like
all of that informs.
Yeah, exactly. And I take things.
If you're a Renaissance person, then it's going to inform every other aspect. Sometimes when we get too technical in studying, if you didn't start out that way, it can really sort of crush a spirit. Also just the inspiration I get. Like I was studying abroad in Florence in Italy, and I went to the Uffizi Gallery in Florence, and I saw the Birth of Venus. Oh yeah. And it was so beautiful, Botticelli's Birth of Venus, and I got so inspired to write this song that I would have never thought to write unless I studied Machiavellian politics, right? So I wrote the song called Could I Be Your Muse, which I think is a really great song. It's has a little curse words. How does that go with Machiavellian politics?
I can sing it. We'll sing a little bit of it. It goes, could I be your muse? I know that you don't have an artistic bone in you, but could you write me poetry? I don't give a shit if it's shitty. I don't need a Botticelli worthy of the Uffizi, but I'm just tired of it always being you. So could I please be your muse? Oh.
Wow!
It's a little romantic. Yeah.
Bravo! Yay! Final thing, then, if there's somebody out there that you want to give advice to, what would you say to them? Just tell them right there in that camera.
I would say, don't ever lose your romanticism. The world might try to have you waver or divert from that path, but you know yourself. You know what you need. Don't ever lose that romantic element that's so precious to you. So if you're someone like me that grew up, consuming so much romantic media and having really high expectations. Don't lose that. Acknowledge that everyone around you is a human and is going to make mistakes, but don't lose that inner sense of like romanticism and what you really want, because that makes you happy. And that's what you're left thinking about. I know whenever I went to bed when I was like 17, 18, I would just think about love and a potential partner that I would be with. And I think if you keep that hope, it will come true. So yeah, don't lose that. It's the most beautiful thing in the world, and I hope you find it. Yeah.
Thank you, Sophia Marie.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks everybody. And Sophia's book will be available in stores and online everywhere. And we'll send you a pub date, an exact pub date when we have that. But Sophia Marie, Archives of a Hopeless Romantic. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time at Cool Conversations.
Cindy, we need your mic.
Oh, okay. All right. So, hey, can you get Sophia Marie and her dad, Victor?
Okay.
Because they're just talking about this. Wait. Here's the mic.
So, Sylvester, just as I walked in at the conclusion of your interview with Cindy, I heard you guys talking about the Hopeless Romantic.
Yeah.
And I thought about our time at the Fringe Festival and getting to watch you do the archives of the Hopeless Romantic.
Yes.
What did you guys talk about in the interview?
Yeah.
What did you find out?
Talked all about my book. It's really fun. About my personality as a hopeless romantic, which you've known. You've borne witness to.
Well, I've known you since you were born.
Exactly. You've known me a long time. So it was so special to have you at the Fringe Festival for 3 nights. You came 3 nights, Dad.
Well, I was at the Fringe Festival longer than that, but I came to your show.
My show 3 nights.
3 nights.
Yeah.
And I thought each one got better
Thank you.
because I was so invested in it.
Yeah.
But I thought that so many of the things that you said I could kind of recall back when you were growing up.
There was that one line when we're in Venice, Italy.
Right.
So it's when we had our trip and we were like, I was 16 or 15, and you say to me, we're in this really gorgeous courtyard. It's like 10 p.m. It's when everyone's kind of at the cafes about to go to sleep, and you say the quote, "Imagine how amazing this place would be and if you were in love."
Oftentimes, maybe in foreign destinations, where there is a certain, even a higher degree
Yeah.
of the romance. And so when we talked about what a place to be in love, and I remember when you mentioned that at the play, and quite a few of the different things that you mentioned in the Hopeless Romantic that I thought really reminded me of what a romantic you are. And I even think back sometimes to from the time you were young and you had the pillow of Captain Hook.
Captain Hook, let's go.
And so every night your
Yeah.
bed sheets and everything were the cool performer, Captain Hook. So I think you've graduated from hopeless romantic to incredible romantic. And I'm so proud of you. And I love your show. And I still believe you're a shoo-in for the 2025 Academy Award as Best Actress for the Archives of the Hopeless Romantic.
Yes.
But I am prejudiced.
Thank you, Dad. I really appreciate it.
Very well.
And you've been on so many of the travels with me.
Well, that's my favorite pastime is traveling. And my favorite travel partner, of course, is you.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you have developed all of these theories of fun and romance and whatever it is based on all that you do. And I'm so glad you're in Oxford now, and I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
So keep up the great work.
Thanks, Dad.
Love you, sweetie.
Love you.